department and also of your BTech curriculum. And this everybody knows that nowadays we use various devices are there in our life, automobile devices, car, uh, washing machine, laptop and mobile phones are, we can easily see that laptops and mobile phones are directly related to our discipline, the electronics and communication engineering. But even most of the uh, tools or most of the uh, devices, most of the or almost all the engineering branches nowadays use automation or use electronic systems. Okay, so electronic systems in a way are ubiquitous. They are everywhere nowadays. They are actually it. We cannot say that that there are certain electronic systems and there are some mechanical systems. Generally, every system has multiple uh, disciplines or multiple engineering disciplines into it. The knowledge from multiple. So, for example, in a car, there is a huge electrical circuitry that uh, takes from electrical engineering, that takes devices and knowledge from the electrical engineering, electronics and communication engineering. There is mechanical engineering, which also involves fluid dynamics, and there is thermal engineering, uh, as well thermodynamics. So generally every system nowadays has uh, components from electronics or electronic components or components that use electronic knowledge from electronics and communication engineering. So this is clear nowadays that life is pretty much dependent on the electronic systems. And in electronic systems, generally, when we talk about electronic systems, the first thing that we mean is electronic devices, essentially. And can any one of you please tell me about an example of electronic device? Any one of Yeah, TV, mobile are I would say large systems. Those are not electronic devices. Those are not electronic components.
Integrated circuits,
Just
diodes.
exactly. You are
Diodes,
yeah, exactly.
transistors, and all.
Capacitor. Yes, exactly. So capacitor, diode, transistors. These are electronic devices, and even integrated circuit is a collection of many electronic devices integrated into a single chip. So that way, it is also it is not a device. It is a collection of devices, but it is uh, now it is like a module actually. So when we talk about electronics and communication engineering, first thing that we need to understand, first thing that we talk about is the electronic devices. And the most important electronic device is the transistor. Okay. So most of your BTech, most of the study in electronics and communication engineering uh, will revolve around transistor physics, application of transistors, how do we communicate uh, between or how do we connect different transistors, how do we make circuits out of transistors. So a good amount of your BTech is going to be focused on transistors. So uh, and you guys might already be aware of that. This is not a new thing that I'm telling, but just to sort of put things in perspective that among all electronic devices, transistor is the one of the most important electronic device. It is not that it is the important, but it is one of the most important. There are other electronic devices as well. So the first thing that we need to understand in electronics and communication engineering is the electronic devices and the circuits made out of these devices. So we need to understand the device physics, how the device functions, um, and generally in device physics, we need to understand the electrostatics of the device. Sometimes electromagnetics is also involved in devices, and then circuit theory is involved in the devices. Okay. Then once we have a decent understanding of devices, then we try to see how do we make circuits or how do we make usable or how do we sort of make use of those devices, and that's where we need to understand electronic circuits. So circuits are a combination of devices and wires which perform a certain functionality, and that's also an important part of electronics and communication engineering. Second, most important part is the communication between the devices. So once we have various devices and once we have various systems made out of those devices, for example, we have computers, mobile phones, laptops, uh, cars, which use, so all these use electronic devices. Another important thing that we need to do is to sort of enable all these devices or all these systems to talk to each other. And that's where communication engineering comes into play. And so that's essentially, that's what the title of the, or that's what our department name is, name stands for, Electronics and Communication Engineering. It essentially means we try to understand, we'll try to build electronic devices, circuits, and we study communication between various systems and devices. Okay. So the most important and most prominent example of communication among devices is internet. And all of you would agree with that, that internet is sort of a communication between various systems. Can any one of you please tell me about the definition of the internet? What is Sahil Kumar, if not anyone else? I'm just randomly picking names. So if you know, please tell. Otherwise, anyone
So
else
it's just
also.
a global network of computer, like instead of just one to computer, all computers in world are connected with this.
Exactly.